Hey everyone, it's Shakira. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about how to recover from abuse. All forms of abuse, physical, mental, financial, blah, blah, all of that. So basically, this was a question under one of my videos, and it's a good question because a lot of people are unsure how to recover from abuse. I think that it's done in the wrong way. The first tip that I have for you is to identify the problem. There are two parts to a relationship that later becomes abusive, right? You have your victim and then you have the abuser. First of all, you have to disassociate with the title of victim because that is disempowering, and what you need is empowerment. And what's going to empower you is knowledge and how you even got to be somebody's target. And the way that you do that is you figure out how did you attract this person to begin with. And so when I was on my journey a few years ago of healing from abuse and whatnot, I was looking for blame to put off on the other person, because it's obvious that if you are in an abusive relationship and you are the person being abused, what they're doing is obvious. They're mistreating you, they're hitting you, they're cursing you out, they're emotionally abusing you, financially abusing you, whatever. So it's easy to blame. It's real easy to blame them because these are the facts. This is what you've been doing. But you are letting them do it. You are allowing it. So when I went searching for the information, that's exactly what I found. While your partner may be wrong for what they are doing or their part in the relationship, you are allowing it. And why are you allowing it? So the longer you stay in a relationship or situation that is abusive, the more you're saying, this is what I want, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. You have to figure out why that's okay. And until you get to the root problem, you will continue to make the same mistakes. So the way you do that, though, is you pick up a book. I came across this book during my search when I was still in that victim mentality. This is called The Emotionally Abusive Relationship, and I got this off of Amazon. This is actually a copy that I got my ex, and we're going to talk about trying to help your jacked up partner in a second. In this book, it tells you, about basically the history about in your life. It helps you connect to your history back when you were growing up. Who neglected you emotionally or physically, maybe abused you, blah, 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 when you were growing up in the household, mom or dad. This all starts from when you are a child. It's very important to understand that what we see, what our parents model for us in terms of relationships, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. And let me make something clear too. This isn't about bashing our parents either. We cannot blame our parents either. Yes, our parents showed us certain things, but when we are adults or when we go through hurt and pain, it's our responsibility to fix those things. Furthermore, you have to understand that your parents probably were doing the best that they could with the knowledge that they had. So keep that in mind. It's not about putting off blame. But this helps you think, go back to maybe some painful places in your childhood to see, where did I learn this? Why don't I have a high enough self-esteem to not even deal with someone like this? Why don't I have, the voice in yoga is the throat chakra? Now mine is very open, but it used to be very closed. And I would not say what I wanted a lot in relationships. And so when you don't say what you want in relationships, or in life period, you're going to get whatever, whether it be scraps or the most amazing, parts of a person. But you have to be vocal. You have to vocalize those things. So it helps you go back in time and figure out, how did I develop this really negative habit of attracting people that abuse me, or continuing on in a relationship when this person is treating me poorly. Really, really good book. It also breaks down the different types of abusive relationships. So emotional, financial, physical, and then it also breaks down, like I'll say me, for example, when I was dealing with stuff like that, when I was being abused verbally and stuff like that, and emotionally, at a certain point, I lashed out. and you may be the type to retaliate also. I lashed out in ways that I would never want to, you know, revisit that time in my life. But I learned from this book that that's why, you know, it's kind of like poking a dog. The more you poke a dog, or the more you mess with somebody, eventually they're going to lash out. So that was where I made that connection. And so also here you have your what is emotional abuse. You get to underline where your partner is, how, you know, their style of abuse. And once you identify that, you identify your patterns, you identify the fact that everything circles back to you, you have to be, instead of disempowerment, empower yourself with, it starts with me so it can end with me. So that is tip number one. Tip number two, you have to start working on yourself ASAP. In order to come up out of that ditch of, you know, being victimized, you have to build your confidence, your courage, your voice, your self-esteem. And the way that you do that, the way that I did it, was through reading and researching a lot, understanding my past, understanding my parents, really dissecting and studying, and then, you know, going and studying other people's patterns and other people's stories, listening to those things. Affirmations were really helpful. Paul Santisi has an I Am affirmation video that you should listen to before you go to sleep every night until you have changed your subconscious mind, because subconsciously you feel like that's all that you can get. You either feel like that's all you can get in terms of that person, you're afraid of leaving that person, you're afraid of what you have to do to survive without that person, but you have to get out of that, okay? And you can even do this while you're still there, but it will be very hard for you to battle against that negative energy, that negative person, and you trying to be, you know, more positive. So hopefully you're not having to deal with that person anymore or be around that person, because, you know, you need to be working on yourself. You need to have positive people around you. You need to have supportive people around you. If that means that you are by yourself until you have healed yourself, then that's what you have to do. You have to get extreme with your healing, because you don't want to have to deal with another relationship that is draining and that is abusive in any form or fashion. So read. In addition to this book, I have these other two books right here. This one is Are You the One for Me? This author, now when you go look her up, okay, she's been married a whole bunch of times. Trying to judge her. She's been married like 6 times, but what's in this book is very helpful, because there's this one exercise that talks about writing a personals ad for your partner. So I wrote one, and I'm trying to remember it, but basically you write it for your current partner or your ex that you are likely still wanting back, even though they treated you like trash. Wanted, so your one ad wanted, you know, a condescending, disrespectful asshole. Excuse my language, this is your one ad. This is who the person is, okay? You know, single black female, single white female, whatever you are, in search of a selfish, inconsiderate, disrespectful asshole that loves to cuss me out in public, that hates to take care of me, that treats my children like trash, and just list everything that they did wrong. You know, everything that you can remember, you know, put it in the ad and then read it out loud. And that should be a wake-up call to you, because we all know all those things that I just listed are negative. It's not what we want in a partner. So the question is, why would you accept that person into your life and, you know, continue to deal with that? Then on the flip side, you write or the activity in this book is you write in one ad for who you really want. So anyway, it's a really good resource. I'll leave it in the description box below. Again, don't judge this woman. She's been married 6 times. We don't know the whole story, but she has good information in the book, okay? Next, this book is called The Language of Letting Go. This is for women and men that are codependent. And what I mean by codependent is, a lot of times we women and even men get with people that we want to fix. So we want to fix these people because we don't want to focus on the fact we need to fix ourselves. And that's what this book talks about. You know, you recover from that. It's likely a cycle. It was a cycle for me. try to help people be better when that's not your job. It's not my job, it's their job to fix themselves and to be the best that they can be, just like it's your job to fix yourself. So that was a really helpful resource for me that I actually started reading while I was still with, living with my ex. The big book, and then the language letting go. I had those in the house, and I was actively working on, fixing my own self, because I knew that it started with me. So tip number 3, take ownership of this situation. Stop retelling your story. Stop looking for sympathy. Stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. And, that might be offensive at first, because you'll be like, well, I haven't. He or she did do this to me. I'm not... Detaching from the victim mentality does not negate the fact that they victimized you. Does not negate the fact that they abused you, that they hurt you, blah, blah, blah. But what it does is it empowers you to make the moves you need to make to never deal with it again. Another reason why you don't want to retell that story and live and wallow in that negativity is because it's going to bring your vibration down. And when your vibration is low, you will attract the same type of person over and over again. You will continue to look for somebody to fix whatever is wrong with you. And, I remember when I was doing research and trying to figure my stuff out, I asked one of my friends, do you believe that we attract who we are? And she said no, and I was just kind of like, I would just kind of ponder that thought, because that's something that we read a lot. We attract what we are. So thinking about it kind of like on a surface level, okay, if I'm the victim, how come I'm not attracting someone that is also like me? Well, what that means to me now is that we attract who's on our vibrational level. So if you are on a low vibrating level, you're going to attract abusers, liars, cheaters. You're going to attract people that will mistreat you. They don't necessarily have to be abusers and abuse you all of the time. But they are low vibrating people, low vibrating beings that are capable of that type of behavior. So meaning, again, if you have low self-esteem, low confidence, you don't take care of yourself, blah, 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 you are an easy target for an abusive person, because they can sense it, and because you are on their level. You are on that low level, low vibrating level, so they are going to be attracted to you. Okay, so getting out of that victim mentality, working on your confidence, working on your self-esteem, working on yourself is going to start to raise your vibration. Because then in that way, somebody that's low vibrating will be repelled by you, because, oh, I can't manipulate her, or I can't control her, I can't talk trash to her, because if I do, she's gonna cuss me out or slap me or something like that. So they're not even gonna approach you once your vibration is so high and your confidence is so high. You guys won't have anything to relate to, so they'll have to move on to someone else. So get out of that victim mentality. Be empowered by the fact that if I created this situation, or if I was created in a situation, meaning your childhood, you were created in a situation, you grew up in a situation where your parents did not empower you, they didn't teach you how to be confident, blah, blah, blah. Knowing that you can change your life, change all of these things about yourself that allows you to be easy prey to manipulators and abusers, you take your control back, you take your power back, and nobody can mess with you anymore unless you allow them, okay? So, number 4, self-care. Self-care is not getting your eyebrows waxed, getting eyelash extensions, beat in the face, and shopping. That's maintenance. That's pampering, which I believe you are absolutely entitled to. You should be pampering yourself. You should be maintaining yourself and, all that good stuff. But it's not self-care or self-love. Self-love is working out. Whether you are an athlete type of fitness person, or you are just somebody that's gonna, go to elliptical, go on a treadmill, blah, 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 lift a few weights here and there, just to maintain your health, or just to start. It doesn't matter what you do, how you do it. You need to work out. That is extreme act of self-care or self-love. Healthy eating. When you eat crap, you're clearly saying you really don't care about yourself, because if you did, you would be giving yourself the best food most of the time. It does not mean that you can't enjoy things here and there, but most of the time, and it's common knowledge now for the most part, everyone's trying to eat healthier usually. But when you say, oh, I don't care, I'm just gonna go through drive-through, you're just really, that's really showing that you don't care much about yourself. Drinking water will add in there too. Meditation and spiritual work. Working on those, that is your affirmations, those are your reading books and stuff like that, because you're elevating your mind. If you choose to not elevate your mind and choose to not improve and be better than you were last year, or be better than you were 5 years ago, or be better than you were when you first got with the bum that was dragging you down, you're exhibiting that you don't care about yourself. Honoring your feelings. That's what this languages of letting go really talks about. Honoring your feelings. How many times have you felt some type of way about something your partner did or your family member did, and you just said, oh no, you know, my feelings don't matter, basically, by not addressing what you want? That's when you got to work on your throat chakra if you're into yoga, because you need to speak your truth all of the time and not worry about hurting anybody's feelings. I'm not saying you got to do it in a mean way, but it's survival of the fittest, okay? Either you hurt their feelings or you hurt your feelings. Care about yourself enough to not be the one who's going to be hurt anymore, okay? You have to be blunt, you have to be frank, and you have to let people know what you are not going to deal with anymore. Honor your feelings at all times, okay? That shows strength, that shows courage, that shows growth, and you got to do it. The last tip is to raise your standards. Use that book that I just showed you with the lady that been married 6 times to raise your standards. Look at successful women that, you know, look at people around you that seem to have a good relationship. The truth of the matter is, relationships are not perfect. Relationships are just not perfect. You're never gonna find the perfect partner or somebody that is flawless, because you aren't flawless either. Everybody has something about them that can be improved and whatnot. But there are certain things that you need to raise your standards on. For example, don't settle for anybody that's gonna yell at you and curse you out in public or around your family. Don't settle. Don't settle for somebody that's not going to give you, if you are a stay-at-home mom and they give you $50 every 2 weeks, like, what are you doing? That's not the purpose of being a stay-at-home mom. That is financial control. If you're not able to be a part of the household funds and stuff like that, don't settle for that. Don't settle for somebody that talks down to you, tries to control you, tells you not to wear X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Don't settle for that. Raise your standards. Don't settle for a partner that doesn't have a job, doesn't have a car, smokes weed all day, doesn't have any goals. Don't settle for that. Raise your standards. Don't settle for somebody that, you know, wants to take you on a date but doesn't open doors, doesn't pay for the tab. Like, don't settle for that. There's no excuse for people to treat you like trash, okay? And I'm going to add to that by saying, again, it is not your responsibility to help people be better. It doesn't work. People have to want to be better. They have to want to do better in order to do better. In fact, if you present somebody with a book that you got because, oh, I want to make our marriage better, I want to fix things, they are probably going to get mad at you, and they most likely won't read it. Period. It's not about perfection, right, in your relationships, but it is about respect. If you're not receiving basic human respect from your partner, you need to leave. You need to not settle if that is going on when you first start dating. Any little red flags, a lot of things that women do, like a lot of us ignore the red flags instead of saying, that's a red flag, I'm gone. You know, you have to do it swiftly before any, you know, type of feeling starts to develop, blah, blah, blah. You have to be the person guarding your feelings, the person in charge of your feelings, the person in charge of your life, the person in charge of who you're letting in your life. Don't just let anybody in. Don't be trying to help people that don't want to be helped. Focus on helping yourself. Focus on yourself. Be selfish for once. Be selfish and do what you have to do for you so that you don't have to deal with, you know, that ever again in your life. So with that said, I hope that answered your question. Thank you for your question. And if you have any additional questions, pop them in the comment section below. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.